versus rushing into some foolishness and be stuck with the foolishness. Okay, so there's that. What's up, everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Millie here, and thank you so much for joining me today for this girl talk / chit chat about basically just things that I wish I would have known in my early 20s. But before we get into this video, make sure that if you like this video, when you get done, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, because we got a lot of different things going on this channel. This is a lifestyle channel. Okay, get into it. So I wanted to start off this video just by putting a disclaimer out there, because these are not things that I necessarily regret. These are just things that I've learned myself, and at the end of the day, what may work for one person may not work for the next. So definitely, you know, take this. I'm a firm believer that we can all learn from each other's mistakes, so y'all can learn from some of mine. But like I said, you know, it's not necessarily things that I regret per se, because of course me learning these things have helped me throughout my life, but more so just things that I wish I would have been more mindful of when I was younger. So let's get into the list. I got my notes right here, you know, just so I can make sure I stay on track. Okay, and this list is not in any particular order. So, number one, it's okay to not have it all together, okay? And it's okay to change your mind. So, of course, I'm sure this is something that all 20-somethings have heard at some point, is that, you know, it's okay to not have it together. But I know for myself, when I was younger, I felt like I had to have everything in order. I had to have my life planned out. And when things did not necessarily go the way that I personally thought that it should go, you know, I just kind of went into freak out mode. And I do feel like some of it was from those like societal pressures, feeling like, okay, by 20 this, I need to have this together. By this age, I need to have this together. And you know, I really, as I've gotten older, I've really learned that at the end of the day, your process is your process, okay? There's people that are in their young 20s that are doing certain things that people in their 50s are, you know, just now started, and that's completely okay too, you know? I don't think we should look at age as like, this is when you have to have certain things done by, you know? Because at the end of the day, your process is your process for a reason, you know? So definitely don't get caught up in feeling like I have to have everything together, I have to know everything. Of course you should strive, and you should you know, work towards goals and things of that nature, but trust and believe, like, we're all figuring this thing out, okay? We're all figuring out this life stuff, okay? So at the end of the day, don't measure your quote-unquote success, for lack of better terms, to the next 20-something-year-old or the next 30-year-old or 40-year-old or whatever the case may be. Go your pace, okay? Like, don't worry about everybody else's pace. So that's number one, I would say. Number two, one of the things I wish I would have known was to stop people pleasing. I am definitely a recovering people pleaser, so go on the record to say I am a recovering people pleaser, okay? I realized that when I was younger, I feel like I really went through this period of where I was just kind of lost in the sauce. I think it's easy, especially in the social media age, to kind of get caught up in comparison and things of that nature, and feeling like, you know, oh, because this person is doing a certain thing like this, or because this person looks a certain way, like, that means we all have to kind of follow this mold. And at the end of the day, that is not the truth, okay? That could be so much further from the truth than what it should really be, you know? At the end of the day, like, for myself, I know when I was just kind of discovering myself, and I saw all these, you know, amazing women that were doing amazing things, I feel like I kind of got caught up in the noise to a certain extent. I was trying to be this, you know, businesswoman that wore the pencil skirts and like all this stuff. And don't get me wrong, nothing is wrong with that if that is the type of person that you are. but I realized like I wasn't really being myself. Like, I am Millie. I love to change my hair. Like, I got my little hoop in my nose. Like, I am a modern day hippie, kind of, not really, but I have my own style and my own way of doing things. And I feel like for a while, because I didn't really know who I was mimicking other people and just being somebody that I wasn't, you know, for myself. Like, just not listening to everybody else's opinions and being careful about the advice that I take, because at the end of the day, I had to really learn how to kind of pick the meat, throw away the bones at the end of the day. Not that the people that were giving me advice, like, it wasn't good advice, but it's just because I was listening so much to others, I feel like I kind of lost, you know, what I really wanted in the process of that. So just be careful with stuff like that. Definitely you should take advice, but then also, you know, you may not want to take everybody's advice, because everybody don't necessarily know what's best for you, okay? Yeah, that's kind of something that I just have learned along the way. And, you know, just the fact that not everybody does have your best interest in mind, you know? So in that, just being really discerning of the people that I allow in my space for that reason. So yeah, that's super, super important. So number 3, toxic positivity is real. And I know when I say that, y'all gonna be like, what? You can never be too positive. But I do feel like we live in this society and this culture sometimes that feels like, you know, if you show any other emotion besides happiness, then it's like you're weak or you're not strong or whatever the case may be. And so I had to learn that that's not healthy, because I feel like, because I'm such a like person that, you know, loves peace and things like that, I was always trying to be positive, and in that I kind of neglected myself, because I would also get really, really angry because I would let stuff build up, you know, and because I didn't express those emotions up front, you know. And so I think that's something that I really would tell myself, is just like, it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to have emotions other than, you know, being positive, because in your 20s, it's like you're really figuring things out, you know. I know for myself, it was like, I felt like school was kind of like a crutch for me for a long time. Like, of course, your whole life is like spent going to school, and then you get out of school, it's like you're really navigating through life, and you're kind of lost in transition a lot of times, because the American promise, American dream that they sold us, no, because Sally Mae come knocking, okay? Sally Mae come knocking, okay? And so, but that's real. That's real. I had to really just learn that in that process of just becoming a young lady, a young woman, like, it wasn't all gonna be peaches and cream, and that's okay, you know. Like, it's okay sometimes not to be okay, to admit that you're not okay, you know, because when you hide it and you mask it, it comes out in other ways. And I'd rather learn early on how to express it than to later on express it in the wrong way and to, you know, just blow up on folks, because that's definitely not what you need. So yes, that's definitely number 3. Number 4, focus on your purpose. The boys will be there, okay? If I could have told myself something back in my early 20s, that definitely would have been one as well, because I feel like I spent so much time pouring into so many other people, whether it be in relationships or friendships or whatever the case may be. But specifically, since we're talking about boys, it's like, even though, yes, I was focused, don't get me wrong, like, I still, you know, I had things that I was focused on, but I do feel like I spent too much time focused on like the relationships that I was in and like helping them, and I didn't equally pour in that time to myself. And I do feel like some of that was because of just like kind of going back to that timeline thing. Like, I felt like, oh, by this age I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to graduate, get married, have babies, do this, you know. And so when the timeline didn't work, it was like I was kind of like forcing myself to be in these relationships with people that at the end of the day, looking back, like, it really was not a good situation, you know. And I knew that, but I was ignoring the red flags out of, you know, feeling like I wanted to be with a person to be able to help me feel that, to be able to kind of fulfill that, you know, dream that I had, right? So if I could tell myself something, like, at the end of the day, when it's the right time, all of that stuff will come. Trust and believe. It will align, and it won't be something that you have to force. It won't be something that you have to beg to stay. Like, it's going to flow, and God will definitely show you at that time, like, what it's supposed to be. But at the end of the day, we got to be whole, y'all. We got to be in a place of where we're ready to receive it too, you know. Take your time with stuff like that. Like, it's really not a rush. Like, it's really not a rush. Like, we try to paint this picture that you got to be married by 30, or you got, like, no. I'd rather wait and be married to the right person versus rushing into some foolishness and be stuck with the foolishness. Okay, so there's that. So number 5, it's okay to spend time alone. So this is something I really wish I would have did more of when I was younger. Like, I feel like because some of the issues I went through growing up and feeling like I wanted to be around people because of abandonment issues, trust issues, all of those things, I did not know how to spend time alone. And so that's something I really would tell myself. Be okay with being in a place of where you don't always have to be in the mix. You don't always have to be around people. You know, nothing's wrong with socializing, but, like, equally spend that time with yourself, you know, to figure out your wants, what you want. It kind of goes back to when I was talking about being a people pleaser, because I realized that I was doing so much for other people that I wasn't pouring into myself too, you know. And so also understanding too, it's okay if your circle's small, you know. Like, I felt like I had to be everybody's confidant, everybody's friend. And I'm realizing as I get older that, you know, nothing's wrong with community. Definitely support that, but at the same time, you know, you want people around you that are going to pour into you. I feel like when I was younger, I was around a lot of people that there wasn't a lot of reciprocity between those friendships and relationships. And so as I've gotten older, I realized that a lot of my connections were based off of just like minute things, you know. And now I'm in a place of where I feel like I've just been kind of separated from a lot of people because my mindset has kind of changed, you know. I don't think the way that I used to. And I feel like at the end of the day, you should grow, of course, like, but I feel like I realized that I was like connected off of trauma and things like that with some of the people that were in my life. And now I realize, you know, I want to make healthy connections, and at the end of the day, God will definitely send those connections when the time is right. So definitely do not feel alone. Do not feel like something is wrong with you if your circle begins to change, or if you do start to feel kind of like out of place in situations where you used to feel so comfortable in, you know. It's part of it. It's part of the change. And at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to block your blessings by holding on to things and people, you know, that God has told you to let go of. And at the end of the day, also side note, because I realize that there may be some people watching me that aren't religious and things of that nature, but I do want to say, just as a side note, because this is at the very, very top of the list, my spiritual walk and just having that connection with God has really, really helped me, because when I was wandering and I wasn't really listening to God in the way that he was speaking to me personally, I was lost in the sauce. So if you are somebody that is a spiritual person, being able to pray and just asking for his guidance in all things, I think really has helped me in my walk in just this 20-something life. So that's a just side note. But as for number 6, I would say definitely get mentors, okay? Get mentors that have been where you're going, that you look up to, that are in the same field as you. I do not know where my life would be if I did not have the mentors in my life. So shout out to each and every one of y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. I am truly grateful for all of y'all, because I think that is something that really helped me in my early 20s, was being around like-minded women that were older than me, that have already been there, you know, that have already dealt with some of the stuff that I was currently dealing with, and they were able to give me insight as to how to deal with it because they had already dealt with it, you know. So being able to have women in my life like that was really, really helpful, and still helpful. I feel like at any age you need a mentor, you know. I know sometimes people will say like, well, how do you find these mentors? Like, these people that I look back on that were my mentors, like, they were really placed in my life. Like, it was something that was so natural, that happened naturally. But these were times where I was volunteering at places, or I would go places that were in my field, different types of events that were catered towards things that I like to do. That's where I met these type of people. So I would definitely encourage you, if that is something that you're looking for, to make sure that you know, go volunteer, go find these people, because it's something that I truly think helps anybody, but especially when you're in your 20s and you're just navigating through life. It's good to have wise counsel and people in your life that are going to encourage you and help you walk through life. So, and last but not least, number 7, learn financial responsibility now. Y'all, when I was in my early 20s, the struggle was real, okay? Like, I was not really taught financial literacy like a lot of African-American families, unfortunately. And for me, I didn't know anything about it. And I'm already bad at math and all that stuff in general anyways. So, that's something I really would say, like, to learn. Like, if you got to go to a budgeting classes, bro, if you got to go to a financial advisor, like, whatever you need to do, because your money and all of that type of stuff, those are things that you really want to make sure that you know how to do. So make sure that you learn that stuff now, y'all, because you don't want to be lost in the sauce trying to figure out all of that stuff like I currently am. And as I'm figuring it out, like, you know, I'm getting it, but I really wish I would have had that foundation of just kind of knowing some of these things beforehand. So definitely learn financial responsibility. But that's it for my list, y'all. I hope this helped you all in some type of way. Leave in the comment section below, you know, maybe some things that has helped you, maybe some things that you may struggle with. You know, this is a community, so we can definitely help each other out and talk about these things, because I trust and believe that you're probably not the only one going through some of the things that, you know, you're going through. So definitely leave below just any suggestions that you may have. And thank you so much for tuning in once again. And like I said, like, share, subscribe, and be back for more videos, because once again, we here, we popping with the girl talks. So thank you.